and welcome to another episode of Beer for Breakfast, ABV. I am Danielle from Marty and Danielle in the Morning on 91X. As always, I have my beer drinking partner in crime with me, Paul Segura, brewmaster from Karl Strauss, and we are welcoming back our friends from Belching Beaver. We're welcoming back Danielle and Andy. Normally, we would be meeting up with them in October for Dia de los Deftones, but that gosh darn pesky pandemic held us back. So we are so stoked to welcome them back. Welcome back, Andy and Danielle.
Thank you for having us.
Always a pleasure to be with you guys. Like you, I wish we could be doing this face to face.
Yeah, it's always better face to face, you know?
So when the latest Deftones beer came out, OHMS, which first of all, this can is so badass. Second of all, the content inside of the can is even more badass. Tell us about the latest edition from the Deftones series.
Go for it, Andy.
Well, we wanted to do something very approachable, extremely drinkable, and for lack of a better term, crushable. So we wanted to do something in the pale ale realm, which we haven't done a lot of previously. We can do them really well, obviously, but we just haven't really dipped our toes into that water. We worked with the band on a flavor profile. So we settled on Simcoe, Amarillo, and Mosaic hops for this bad boy. You got to get lots of really nice citrusy, lemony, and grapefruit notes, little hints of pineapple. And with the Simcoe and the Amarillo, you're going to get a real nice, piney, resiny backbone. Super light, super bright, and so darn drinkable.
Oh, we lost Andy, I think, at the end there.
Oh, I was drinking.
Paul, what do you think of this pale ale? It comes in at 5.5% ABV. I mean, you know, I'm just the person that enjoys the beers. I think great. From a brewmaster standpoint, what do you think in this pale ale?
I think every superlative that Andy mentioned is spot on. I get it is bright, it is crushable, quaffable, it is a bit dry. It's got a nice, pleasant, hot, citrusy hop flavor. I like this beer a lot. I think it appeals to a very broad audience. But I also think it has enough really cool little nuances to keep even, you know, the beer snobs super happy.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to share this with hopheads and novices alike. And everybody seems to really enjoy this. Someone that's more of a lager drinker is like, wow, I can really, you know, hammer a couple of these or, enjoy them more than I would a lot of craft. But the hopheads are like, man, I love the depth of flavor that I'm getting out of those hops.
Yeah, and it lingers. It stays on the palate, just kind of keeps going and going. And I'm burping up hops at this point, and it's pleasant. I like this a lot.
Well, Paul, you've been around, quite a while in the San Diego beer scene. To us, this is that classic San Diego Pale Ale. It's got that really nice hop character. Again, you get that whisper of bitterness, a little bit of that piney, resiny note, but just the drinkability on it, I think, is just out of this world.
You've taken like an old classic, a San Diego classic, and added a new twist, though, with all the new hop varieties.
Yeah. It's the best of both worlds. We try to, stay fairly traditional in that sense, but we do like to add that, newer hop kind of twist to it. I mean, Mosaic is everybody's, go-to and favorite these days, and that just adds a layer, and it plays so nicely with Simcoe.
So I've got to ask for all the other Deftone fans out there. I'm a fan myself. To what degree did the band participate did they just kind of provide general guidelines? We want something hoppy and crushable, and then you guys kind of did the rest, or did they say they specifically want citrusy and some of that stuff?
Danielle?
We always do a couple test batches of different styles, and they always give us feedback on what they like about each individual beer that we send to them. So if they like the hop profile on one, but they like the mouthfeel of another, they'll definitely let us know and kind of get in with what they like to make sure that it fits with what they want to have their name on.
That's
And
super
Danielle,
cool.
how long ago did the relationship with Deftones start with Phantom Bride? Because I remember when Phantom Bride came out, and we were so stoked by it.
This beautiful can. Yeah, it's still around. It's going on 5 years. So we've been doing this for a while. This is our 7th beer with the band, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, I believe we've done 7 so far. We started with Phantom Bride. We followed that up with Digital Bath and Swerve City and Good Morning Beautiful and
Dia de los
White Pony, Dia de los Deftones. So
yeah, we've definitely gone through quite a gambit of flavor profiles for them. And then we always have ones that we'll rebrew it again just because people really want it and, that they want to clamor for it again. So we've remade a couple of the beers a couple times. So.
By the way, the artwork is extremely rad on every single one of them. My favorite, though, is the woman's face that's got the.
That was the
Dia. Yeah, that's the Dia de los Deftones.
That's super awesome.
Yeah.
Before we move on from the Deftones beer, because it is such a rad beer, I would just like to commend you guys once again for having another super solid beer that you didn't just slap a band's name on it. Like this is so much more than a Deftones. So once again, thank you for continuing to make these super awesome beers.
Absolutely.
And that's something we're really proud of. We're not just slapping a band's name on an existing beer or just doing a quick little marketing trick. We actually work with the band from recipe development to flavor profiles all the way through the process. I mean, they are involved all the way up to and almost jumping on the brew pad from time to time. But they do come by, visit the brewery. They hang out with us. They've worked the canning line. They stood behind the bar in the tasting room. So it's been a really amazing relationship with those guys, and they're all just super cool cats.
That is awesome. Moving into Hazer's Gonna Haze, Hazy IPA, coming in at 6.6% ABV. Shout out to Hillary, who does middays on 91X. She actually got me a 4-pack of this for my birthday. So thanks, Bill.
Oh, yeah,
I love Hillary. Say hi for me.
I will.
Here's the Hillary. She's the best.
Yeah, we go back a ways. We have some radio background together.
She's the best. So tell us about this beer. Where did Hazer's Gonna Haze come from? Where'd it come from?
Well, the name Haters Gonna Hate. So we liked that, but obviously had to do the Hazers. It's kind of, we took some of the best of our hazy beers and brought you guys like the best of the best. We took what we loved about the hazies that we made, a couple different batches, and we threw this together, and it just became kind of a core beer for us. And it's been a core for almost a year now. So you can find it year round at all of our tasting rooms. You can find it in your Vons, your Albertsons, Bevmos, your local liquor store. If you love hazies and you don't see it there, ask for it because we're around and we'll get it to you.
Yeah, real nice hop combination on this one too. For Paul, we got Amarillo, Mosaic, Galaxy, Citra, and El Dorado.
All my favorites.
Yeah,
Nice and juicy, just like a hazy should be.
I like the body and the mouthfeel on this a lot. It's got just the right amount of residual sugar for a hazy. I like it. And of course, it's got all the hop flavor without a lot of the bitterness.
Yeah, that's the key to the hazy, is dialing down that bitterness and getting you all that hop aroma and hop flavor, and then using oats and red wheat in the grist that gives you that really nice pillowy backbone for those hops to just dance across.
And you know what I like too? It's super hazy, but it's not a yeast bomb.
Mm-hmm.
It's not chunky.
No, and I appreciate that.
It's a fine line to walk between that chunky, yeasty, and a really nice pillowy hazy. So I think we threaded the needle on that one.
Danielle, are you getting a little pineapple in the finish on this? I am.
I do.
It's good. And I've asked Paul this question before on Beer for Breakfast ABV, but I would love to hear both of your take on this, especially since Belching Beaver makes so many juicy IPAs. What is your definition of a juicy IPA?
Ooh. We both had the same reaction.
I mean, does it have to be just from ours? I mean, there's so many options in San Diego of what I would consider like a juicy IPA, you know. I think we do really well with ours. I would say Hazers Gonna Haze is probably my definition of what a juicy, hazy IPA should be and should taste like.
What kind of characteristics would we get out of a juicy IPA in both of your opinion?
I'm looking for a cross of citrus and tropical. You're going to get some pineapple notes, which kind of works both citrus and tropical. You're going to hit some tangerine. You might hit some mango in there as well, because a lot of the phenols are very similar between the different fruits and the hops. They have a lot of the same characteristics, and it plays with your olfactory senses as well as your taste buds to kind of give you that super juicy kind of feel. And just spinning back to Phantom Bride, even though it's kind of a West Coasty IPA, it kind of straddles the two because it's very juicy, but it's also got that West Coast backbone. So we have a lot of fun playing with different flavor profiles.
I couldn't have said it better than Andy. It's pretty much kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something that I get a lot of those tropical notes. It's not going to be overpowering on the bitterness at the end, and I want it to have a really nice mouthfeel. I don't want it to have a resininess that's going to kind of leave a nasty linger on the tongue, if you know what I mean.
Are you satisfied, Danielle? Did their description kind of match up?
No, I am. This is the fun of Beer for Breakfast. Is, you know, we all learn a lot of stuff, and I've put Paul on like I'm like, hey, dude, what does this mean? And he's like, oh. So I love when I get the answers directly from the people.
So I think people were using juicy and hazy sort of interchangeably, and I think that's okay because they often, you know, go hand in hand. But I think the term juicy was derived or came about because the beer itself tastes like fruit juice. You know, it's got a fair amount of sweetness and then just a lot of either tropical and or citrus-like flavors.
Yeah,
I definitely felt like juicy had kind of started getting thrown around in the industry, similar to when you'd hear like, oh, this is a hoppy beer. Like, well, what do you mean that this is a hoppy beer? Like, give me something more than that. And so I feel like juicy keeps getting thrown around a lot in that regard. And so I love like hearing, what does juicy IPA mean to you?
Yeah, it can be kind of a catch-all. Like, oh, this is juicy, but you get some of those beers that are they're almost pulpy, that they've got so much citrus character to them. So you can go to the extreme end of the juicy side, just like you can go to the extreme end of the hoppy side. But I really think of that citrus and tropical mix.
I love it.
Really?
Well, before we finish off with our last beer, because this is actually a special beer, I would love an update on what is going on with Belching Beaver as far as the tasting rooms go, the pub goes. Just, I mean, things are changing constantly, so hopefully there's a little bit of normalcy. But as of right now, what's going on with Belching Beaver?
I'll touch base on the tasting rooms for sure. All of our tasting rooms are open. We have 2 restaurants up in North County, so obviously those guys are able to serve food and have been doing to-go stuff since everything shut down. But our tasting room in North Park, as well as Oceanside, you have to have a meal with it. So we have hot dogs, and I believe they do food trucks up at Oceanside. But yeah, North Park, we do hot dogs, and you can sit outside and enjoy it. We got some covered patio area for you. So it's in the back, so nobody can see it. So I think it's a little hidden gem, if you will. But yeah, we're open for business and we're ready to go. So come on in, please.
Yes.
Yeah, we're definitely back at it. Our tavern location in Vista is back to doing outdoor dining, obviously, in our expansive patio. You can still get your food to go. You can still get cocktails to go at our tavern in Vista if that's your kind of thing, which kind of mine.
Yes. That's a yes.
We love cocktails to go. This is probably the best thing to come out of the pandemic is just being able to take cocktails to go. Yeah. It's like,
I hope that never goes away.
I hope so too, honestly.
Fingers are crossed.
So while we're talking about the tasting rooms, Danielle, you were telling us that this raspberry cocoa bomb milk stout, this is something special just for the tasting rooms, right?
Correct. You can find it at both of our locations in Vista, our Pub 980, as well as the Tavern, and then also at the Oceanside facility, which is our main brewing facility. And then you can also find it at the Tasting Room in North Park. This is an easy drinking 8.5 hot chocolate raspberry stout. I say easy drinking because it really does not taste. It doesn't taste like it's an 8.5. So it comes in 4-packs. It's about $14, I believe, for the 4-pack. So definitely a decent deal for an 8.5% beer. It's a delicious dessert stout, I would say. You get a lot of the raspberry off of it. I don't know if you guys can kind of get that sourness at the end of it, but that sweetness you get right up at the front is just fantastic.
Paul, it'll kind of remind you of back in the day when we would take a framboise and pour it into a Guinness or an Imperial Stout and kind of do a half and half with framboise. So that's kind of what we were going for thematically, was when we used to, hang out at Churchill's or go to O'Brien's and get that half and half with framboise and stout.
Yeah, definitely can raise me almost a sour stout.
We'll do that again at some point, Andy, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Imperial Stout is better than Guinness. I agree, though. This doesn't drink like 8.5%.
No.
It's a perfect balance between the cocoa and the raspberry. And with the raspberry, you get the sweetness and the tartness. The fruit itself has both. And it has a slightly tart, that raspberry finish on it. It's brilliant. It's great. It's worth the trip to the tasting rooms for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely known for our flavored beers, so I think that this is one that we definitely knocked out of the park. And I like that it's available just in the tasting room, a little more exclusive for you guys, so you're not going to be able to find it everywhere. But definitely get it while you can, because it's not going to be around forever.
Hear me out. With Valentine's Day this weekend, this is what you want. Valentine's Day is this weekend, gentlemen. I'm sure a lot of you forgot. Pick this up, get some chocolates, and sit there and have a nice little pairing, because this is perfect for Valentine's Day.
We also might be putting together a little Valentines Bundle for some people. So I believe you'll be getting, I believe it's going to have a t-shirt, a sour beer, a couple cans of this, and a couple stickers and some little goodies for you. So definitely worth picking up. You can get some for yourself and some beer for your girl, or vice versa, girl for your man, whatever.
Yeah, definitely check our social media. We'll have information on any kind of sort of special offers that we're doing at our locations as well.
Yeah.
Very cool.
In the North Park location, everybody
Very cool. Get it?
Might miss out on the full liquor. You go to the North Park location, chances are you're going to get to hobnob with Danielle. So, I mean, almost. That's pretty fun.
Thank you.
Danielle and Andy, thank you so much for joining us for Beer for Breakfast ABV. Danielle, what is the best way to keep up with everything Belching Beaver?
You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just look at Belching Beaver. You can find all of our locations. We have one for our Pacific Northwest. We have some for Belching Beaver Vegas. So if you live in a specific market, you can follow us there. For us here, just Belching Beaver.
Awesome. Mr. Andy, do you have anything to leave with the peoples?
Well, all of our locations also have their own individual social media outlets. So Belching Beaver North Park, Belching Beaver Oceanside, Belching Beaver Pub 980. So check all of them depending on your proximity to find out what's going on near you.
Love it. Mr. Segura, Brewmaster, would you like to leave anything with the people from our lovely Beer for Breakfast?
Just one little tidbit to the brewmaster at Belching Beaver, Mr. Troy. Congratulations on the new addition to your family. I miss you, dude. Let's hang soon. Cheers.
Brew another beer. Cheers, guys.
And with that, thank you so much for joining us with another episode of Beer for Breakfast ABV. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page so that you are the first to know every time a new episode comes out. And remember, every Friday morning, Paul Segura joins Marty and I on 91X at 9:05 Pacific Standard Time on 91.1 to talk about Beer for Breakfast. We will be getting down on some Belching Beaver this Friday morning. So thank you so much, and cheers to independently owned craft beer and radio in San Diego.
Cheers.
Cheers.